Brodes Media.
Was it a long shot? Yeah, it was. It was. But the way that second period went down, the surge, the team was buzzing, good cycles, good shots on net, good rushes in a game where they were coming at a premium. It just looked like they had that wave in the second period where they were actually going to do this. And the Habs were up a goal, then it was tied, then they're up a goal, then a brutal icing call happens, 3 seconds left, they tie the game. You thought you had a chance, 1-1 with about half the third period to go. You got to find a way to squeeze one through. Montreal's up 1 goal, and it just sucks. It just sucks. This team deserved to see a playoff series after hell they busted their ass all season long. But those 8 games came at a cost. And obviously, it's very cliche, but for these young ones, and even for the Sean Couturiers of the world, you got your first season under your belt of understanding the captaincy role. So that has to improve as well. Just in general, every detail of the team needs to get better. John Tortorella has to get better. It's just what it is. You have to be better because this wasn't good enough. So whatever buttons he pushed that didn't work, you can't be playing the same hard-ass card. So if benching and healthy scratching your captain this year failed miserably, and if next year I see you do it again, that's called stupidity. Because we need to change the things that went wrong, and this team failed for 8 straight games, and they were against bad teams. I think they put too much of a focus on the gauntlet. So everybody sort of took a deep breath and a sigh of relief the second, and I mean the second, after you finish through, what was it, Carolina, Toronto a couple times, Boston a couple times. Was Carolina in there? I forget. Florida maybe? I don't remember. There were some very effective squads, and they held their own. The New York Rangers, they survived by getting a point here and there, finding a way to get to overtime. So they did just enough. And then the second it's Columbus on the road, you suck that bad? How? And look, I'm just as mad as everybody else about the fact that the referees are blowing their whistle when the puck's up in the air and it hits the ice and it crosses the goal line. Yo! How are you not watching the puck? Your job is to watch the puck. If the puck goes up, your damn eyeballs go up. If the puck is in the air, you focus on the damn puck being in the air. That costed the Flyers, and who knows? Who knows? Because the real reason why you lost this game is Torts pulled his goalie. That's why you lost the game. They were in this. It's tied. But you had to. Now, in regards of the timing, Torts not knowing that Detroit tied it up, so the pulled goalie doesn't mean much, which screws over Pittsburgh. It screws over Detroit. Think about that emotional ride the Red Wings went on. They scored with 3 seconds left, and they think they got themselves a bang spot into the potential postseason, and here's the Flyers pulling their goalie when it's irrelevant because the second Detroit goes to overtime, you're officially mathematically eliminated. So it was a wild sequence for sure when you look at how it impacted the rest of the league. But in reality, I'm so heartbroken. I'm dead inside. And it's not as if I didn't expect this. I was pretty much dialed in on saying this is sort of house money these next 48 hours or so. Just enjoy it. They already failed. That 8 game is going to come back to bite you. I'm sad that we're not going to see this anymore because they had their flaws. They sure did. But they showed us a lot this year. And Tyson Forster, Morgan Frost, Owen Tippett, Cam York. Man, Cam York has been so enjoyable. He has been so good. And I'm hoping that Drysdale what we're seeing now is just a product of him being injured, and he went through a lot this season. He's really banged up, but he just wants to be out there for the fellas, eat some minutes, but he's playing at a 70% clip right now because of his wing that went down earlier in the season, which is a common injury for him, something he dealt with in Anaheim. So it's been sort of on his IL notebooks and paperwork for a long-ass time. He's an NHLer. He's an everyday NHLer. Is he really good, or is he a guy? He's young. Defensemen take longer to grow, yada, yada, yada. But I thought maybe he would have been farther along in that growing process. Not writing him off. I see a lot of good things. He's a top 4 defenseman. It's how good of a top 4 defenseman is he going to project out to be? There are times where I am pleasantly surprised. There are times where I'm actually insanely scared and nervous. Because in what world do you even think to do that? How about TK being robbed in front of the doorstep? Looked like they were getting away with some far pad shots, which created something juicy just sitting there in the slot. And a few times, TK was right there. It was a little close to the pad. I wish the rebound was fatter. I wish it laid maybe a little farther away from the crease, so then you had a chance to elevate it over the pad. But he got robbed. I thought Paling was flying through the neutral zone, just putting the puck in between him and the defender's stick and skate and gliding right through pretty easily, which was entertaining. Like, this team gave us that fun couple of spurts in this game, and you had to grind it out. It was one where it was a chess match. It was slow. It was methodical. Not a lot of shots. Shot total pops up on the graphics. It's 10 minutes into the period, and it's shots 1-1 for each period. So, but that's how the playoffs are. It's not going to be this free-flowing LA Fitness style of hockey. No, it's going to be tight. It's going to be measured. There's going to be calculated risks in the neutral zone. You're not going to jump up every single time in the play to be that third layer. If you see maybe the Flyers are doing something, you stay back, you keep 2 defensemen high. We're not giving up any odd man rushes. It's a tighter game. And I think the hits impact is more there, right? Like a Hathaway brings tremendous value when he's getting in the corners and he's rubbing his shoulder over somebody's chin as they're skating along the glass. That stuff matters this time of the year. I'm not going to put the full blame on the refs. I'm going to acknowledge that they sucked and they have a job to stare at the puck when it's in midair. But, I mean, the Flyers lost this thing during the 8-game losing streak. It costed them. It threw away a lot in the trash. Now, when we regroup and we reassess this team in a week, in 2 weeks, when we remove ourselves from the right now, well, of course, we'll string together more positives and we'll look for the good stuff because there's so many good things to happen here. But what I saw in this team against Washington and what we witnessed tonight, that was the team that the Flyers have been for a majority of the season. But I also threw out a tweet when the game ended, and there were some pretty interesting and solid comments. So in regards to just how are you feeling tonight? This is from Kurt. I'm disappointed, but I'm not discouraged. Good building stone for the future. The young kids tasted how close they were and now playing the what-if game in their heads. They will stay hungry, and hopefully the front office can get a good vet and not just a washed-up locker room vet for next season. No, I mean, in regards to utilizing this as momentum and letting it feed the beast, so when you're in the gym during the offseason and you're doing your slide boards or you're doing your hang cleans and you're working on your footwork and all that stuff, the recovery phase of your programs. I've been through it all, baby. I thought about all the seasons prior when I'm doing my workouts throughout that time in my career. You know, that's what I would do. I would process what I can do to be better, replay bad plays that I had and make sure I'm not going to do it again. How can I get better here, this and that? That's just what it is. At least that's how my brain was wired. And I'd imagine that Owen Tippett, Joel Farabee, that's what you got to do. You got to let the pain fuel you.